Yo, yo, what's up? I know I haven't made a video for some time. It's been quite a busy summer, but now things are starting to slow down for the winter, which kind of ties into the topic that I want to talk about in today's video, and that is creative blocks. And especially around this time of year when things shift from summer into fall and then from fall into winter, um, typically becomes a really hard time for me to go and write and be creative, especially here in Utah where the weather changes, and with daylight savings, which actually just happened today, um, we also lose an hour of sunlight. And so, in states where there are seasons and it's like very gray, uh, pretty much every day of the month at this time of year, it definitely becomes a lot harder to stay creative. And so, what I wanted to kind of go over today are just different things that I have learned throughout my journey in doing music and kind of going through the motions of this particular slum every year and how to fight it and break through it. And so now I have essentially more or less like broke through it. However, as you can see, I'm in a new space. I live by myself now. So I'm curious if it will still be the same since, I know how to go and kind of break that cycle, or, if I'll fall back into old patterns. So that's something for me to kind of see what happens there. But I just wanted to share information that, like I said, has helped me. And so, anyways, there are things that you can do both inside and outside of the DAW. And so I just want to go over those. But I guess we'll start with outside of the DAW because, you could be sitting at the DAW, but there could be things outside, like outside factors that are just making it hard for you to be creative or to make anything. And you may really want to make something and you may, be sitting in front of the DAW, but it's just not coming out. And so some different things that I've learned is like taking care of your own physical health and mental health can definitely really help. And so one thing that I have definitely noticed that has been a huge help is just going to the gym and doing things to kind of like give your body that natural energy outside of things like, say you drink coffee or Monster or whatever you might do to kind of stimulate your energy levels in whatever way. Getting that natural energy by working out, I've noticed has like greatly improved my energy levels, especially throughout the winter when there's not as much sun. And getting sun, that definitely gives a lot of like serotonin as well, and I feel like serotonin kind of plays in part with it also, because I feel like that kind of leads to this seasonal depression, as we might know it as. And so I guess moving into the next thing, one thing that I have been taking, especially during this time when I don't get as much sun, is like vitamin D supplements. There might be other options that might be better for you, but I've noticed that, going to the gym and taking these vitamin D supplements to where I'm still getting that vitamin D and it's getting inside of my body versus, like when I would naturally get it from the sun, that's definitely helped a lot, just to keep my energy levels going and my mood well. And that makes me feel not so like mentally blocked, to where I can stay creative. And yeah, another thing is, at least for me, since I do music and creative things full time, sometimes you do need to have that balance of taking a break from being creative. Creative burnout is definitely a very real thing, and with everything in life, you need to have balance. And so you can go and be creative, 365 days a year if you wanted to, but sometimes you're going to have those moments when you just need to rest, when you need to take a break, and you need to kind of recharge yourself essentially, and then come back with like a fresh, almost like you're just teeming. You're just like, what am I trying to say? Basically, like, you've been away from being creative for so long that you're just like, I cannot wait to do something. I have so many different ideas just like brimming inside of me. And so it's okay to take those breaks and not be creative for a while, because then when you come back, you just like have this rush and like all these ideas, and like it's almost just like, yeah, like there's nothing really holding you back because you've just had that break away from it. And I feel like, again, that kind of translates over to a lot of different things in life, to where it's like when you don't do something for a while, when you have that break, then you start to yearn for it. Like even like listening to music, like if you don't listen to music for a while, you're like, man, I can't wait to sit down and listen to some music, or I can't wait to cook and listen to some music, or sit in the car and listen to music, whatever scenario you might be in. Just doing some music, or listening to some music, or being creative, or like, oh man, I can't wait to play this game, or whatever it might be that you do in your life that you're like, I haven't done this in a while and I really, really, really want to do it. You just have this like yearning for it. And so I think kind of um, giving some space away from being creative and doing music and then coming back definitely helps. So if you're not feeling creative, step away. It could be, a couple of days, it could be a month, it could be a week, however long, until you start just like feeling this urge inside to like be creative. And then that's when you kind of just like just have all these ideas coming out of you, all this, I'm trying to think of the word, but like, yeah, you're just like, I just want to go. I just have like this fire into me where I just want to make. And so I've definitely gone and done that. And usually it's around this time of year where like I wouldn't make music for like a month or two sometimes. But yeah, and then outside of that, I guess that's kind of it that comes to mind right away for outside of the DAW. Just like taking that time, taking care of your mental health, make sure you're eating good. Really taking care of your actual body and your mental health is definitely number one top priority to keeping that creative flow and that energy within you just going. Now I guess we'll jump into what you can do within the DAW, or even if it's not in the DAW, like, say you have like hardware or something that you might mess with. But if I'm not feeling like making music, then I may go and create sounds. And around this time of year is when I make a lot of sounds, because I'm not feeling like creating full tracks. And so I might go and learn a new synth, or I might go and learn. I have some hardware, and so I might go and mess around with the hardware and just kind of have like sound design sessions, and then just go through and kind of cut up a bunch of different sounds and then just save them for later, so then I can kind of recall them when I'm making something. Another thing is doing an exercise, or for me, like I'll watch like a tutorial and it might go and talk about a certain technique that I'm like, oh, I should try that. And I kind of treat it as like an exercise. And by doing that exercise, naturally, a lot of the times, because I'm just like focusing on the exercise, a song just kind of comes out. And so by kind of limiting myself to like learning this certain technique, or even if it's like some type of limitation, like, like for example, I remember watching this workshop series with Nikki Nair and I think it was Justin J. They talked about only making a track with just a 909 like drum machine, for example. And so I think kind of like using these limitations can help you to get out of your mind and to just start doing things and putting them down. Another kind of I guess, like exercise, if you will, that I recall doing with another couple of artists actually was it was essentially like a hot potato thing where we each would jump on our laptop and we would each have, say, anywhere from like 30 to 45 minutes to create an idea. And then after that 30 or 45 minutes, then we would go and bounce all of the stems out and then just send them to the next person. And we would essentially like rotate all the ideas. And then like each of us would work on each other's ideas for another 30 to 45 minutes. And then since there was three of us, we would do a third round also. And so then after, an hour and a half, then you would have three different ideas that you have all worked on. And I think that's another great thing to do, just like when you're in the studio with someone, anyways, because then you're kind of getting more ideas laid out and you're not thinking too much about what it needs or doesn't need. You're just going with the flow and the feeling of what feels right in the moment. And I think that's a good exercise to do in general when making music, I guess, overall. That's something that I've been learning this last year as well. And I can go into that in another video. But, anyways, yeah, just kind of like setting these limitations on yourself can also help in many ways. And then also, like I said, just like if you don't feel like being creative and creating a full track or whatever it might be, then yeah, just do like a sound design session and just kind of like mess around making different sounds or watching tutorials and learning to make sounds from them, because then you'll have these skills that will, well, A, these skills, and B, the sounds that you can use when you're making a track, and you won't have to go and like make them in the session and then attempt to go and make a track after. So yeah, as of now, I mean, that's all I can really think of when it comes to that. If you have any other things that have helped you, or things that keep you motivated and keep you creative, feel free to comment on this video, or even share in the Discord as well. But yeah, I hope this helps you throughout these next, I don't know, like 4 or 5 months of winter season, basically. At least that's how it's going to be here. It's going to be pretty snowy until about like March or April, and then spring. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you later.